What is going on, guys? So we have a very special guest today. We have Ed Oliver, who covers the Washington football team. I believe it's Ed Oliver on YouTube, and he's also the brand ambassador on FTFN Network for the Washington football team. So, Ed, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. I'm ready for this matchup. I'm ready for this matchup.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't know about you, but the way I thought the season was going to go, I'm a little sour on my team right now. I remember the first time we met on Fan to Fan, you predicted us to go 8-8, and I was thinking we were like a 12-4 team. I was like, oh man, you're a little harsh. I was like, and now looking back, I'm like, you were kind of nice to me. I mean, geez, man. So what's going on in the NFC East?
Yeah, it's not the NFC East, it's the NFC least now. I mean, you got the Giants and Eagles tonight. That could end up in a tie. I don't even know who's gonna win that game. And then our game, both teams are just atrocious right now. I mean, decimated by injuries, and just the whole division is just trash right now. I mean, 6-10 probably could win the division.
Sure. So, what is the deal with Riverboat Ron bringing in his guy from Carolina, Kyle Allen, as the new starter? The team's obviously sour on Dwayne Haskins. What's your take as a fan?
I wasn't happy with the decision. I thought it was too quick to pull the leash or pull the hook on Dwayne Haskins. 4 games in, and he's still a young developing quarterback. I think he's only had like 11 starts in his career or something like that. So I thought it was ridiculous to pull him so early. Kyle Allen is he's a turnover machine. I mean, he'll make a good play, and then next thing you know, he'll have an interception or he'll fumble the football. And against the Giants, he fumbled the ball. It was returned for a touchdown, and then he came down and led a drive to score a touchdown. So there's good Kyle Allen and there's bad Kyle Allen. So it's he to me, I think he's a backup quarterback at best, but he can make some plays. He'll
Right.
surprise you a little bit.
Yeah, so as a Texas A&M fan, I got to see him play for a couple years in college, and yeah, I mean you're pretty spot on. Sometimes he's decent, sometimes he's pretty bad, but he's going to have a couple turnovers a game, and I definitely think it's bizarre with the whole Dwayne Haskins thing, man. I mean, he's barely had a shot. Um, Now I know as a Cowboys fan, we're a little low right now on Mike McCarthy and just the job he's done so far with the team. I think we had high expectations. What do you feel about Ron Rivera right now? Just 6 games in. I know you're off to a tough start, but y'all definitely have a base, I think, to build upon.
I'm not the biggest Ron Rivera fan at the moment. His record is what it says it is, what he is, and he's had a lot of mixed messages. He said this season was going to be a rebuilding and developing season. Then he looks around and sees how bad the NFC least is, and he's like, we're in win now mode, and we're on a 2-game losing streak now. So he pulled the plug on Dwayne Haskins. He said there that he had Dwayne Haskins back, and then next thing you know, there's some leaks coming out before the Ravens game. He benches him after the Ravens game. There's been games where he hasn't called timeouts when the game has been in somewhat reach. He's let the clock run out. His clock management has been poor. Decision making has been poor. He went for two. He went for a 2-point conversion when we could have just scored the extra point against the Giants and went into overtime and probably would have won that game if we would have just kicked the extra point. So right now, I'm not a big fan of Ron, but I know it's a process. So you got to give the guy 3 to 4 years and see what he does next year. But this year so far has not been good from Ron Rivera.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's been a very similar thing with Mike McCarthy. And then you go back and listen to the way Aaron Rodgers kind of talked about McCarthy in Green Bay. And I'm like, oh man, is this really our guy? Did we make the mistake? But you're right. It does take a couple years to get your team implemented with the new schemes and that sort of thing. So I do think that hopefully we'll all have something to build on. Now, this week, as a Cowboys fan, man, I'm looking at that defensive line in Washington, and there's some talent there. Starting with the number 2 pick of the draft this year, Chase Young. I worry about him the next decade as a Dallas fan, especially if Tyron Smith can't stay healthy towards the end of his career. But you look at Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, who's the guy, Ioannidis, Ryan Kerrigan, Montez Sweat. There's just abundance of pass rushers and athleticism there on the defensive line. And then you might have one of the best cover corners in the league in Kendall Fuller, man. So I'm concerned about that Washington defense. And from your perspective, should I be?
Yeah, so like you said, Chase Young and Montez Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan. Unfortunately, Matt Ioannidis is out for the season. That really is really hurting us right now. John Allen and Deron Payne, they're good run stoppers. But I like our matchups against you guys. You guys are just decimated with injuries. Like
Yeah.
Tyron Smith is out for the year. Lyle Collins is out for the year. Zach Martin is in concussion protocol. I don't even know if he's going to play. So I mean, you
Mhm.
guys have just so many injuries to the offensive line. It's just crazy. I hate to feel bad for the rival, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting really bad for you guys. And this is a game that Chase Young has to take advantage of. And even the guy Brandon Knight, who was a backup to Tyron Smith, he's having knee surgery, so you're
Yeah,
down
he's
to your
out.
third string. Yeah, you're down to a third string left tackle. So Chase Young and Montez Sweat, they got to be licking their chops. They got to take advantage of this. They got to get to Dalton, and Dalton is not as mobile as Dak. So you got to get to a quarterback that's slower than Dak. I mean, in a really really banged up offensive line. So Chase Young, I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 sacks from Chase, Montez Sweat each. If they don't do that, then it's a disappointment to me.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that concerns me is last week we played the Cardinals and they lost Chandler Jones for the season. And without him, man, they had guys I had never heard of sacking Andy Dalton, getting to the quarterback almost immediately. It was like Dennis Gardeck was one of them. Like Kylie Fitz was another. I was like, dude, who are these guys? These guys are off like the practice squad. So it's definitely a concern. Our only starting offensive lineman that's healthy right now is Connor Williams. We're on, you could say our backup center, but Biotish is really should be our third string center because Travis Frederick just retired in the offseason. So it's definitely something I'm concerned about. How do you feel about y'all's offense and how you can move the ball against the Cowboys? Because to be quite honest, we've seen teams like the Giants even put up 30 plus on our defense, and I'm concerned personally.
Right. Yeah, our offense has been anemic and just it hasn't been able to get anything done so far. Our offense is pretty bad. We got a lot of young guys. I mean, Terry McLaurin is the best person on the offense by far, in my opinion. The offensive line has gotten a little bit better. Morgan Moses has been decent. We got Sheriff back on the O line, but running backs, we just don't have a guy that's really going to get 100 yards. We just don't have that kind of running back. We cut Adrian Peterson, and I think it's kind of hurting us. I think we could definitely use somebody like Adrian Peterson, but we got a lot of young running backs that are learning, like Gibson. Gibson's a good pass catching running back. He's not bad, but you can tell he's still learning the game. He only had 33 carries in college, so
Right.
you can just tell when he runs out there. But if we get good Kyle Allen, that's not going to turn the football over, which is I don't see him having a perfect game. He's probably going to at least fumble one or throw an interception at least once or twice. But if we do get a Kyle Allen that doesn't turn over the ball, then maybe the offense can get the ball down the field with McLaurin and some other guys. I think our second receiver right now is Dontrell Inman. So we're really lacking in offensive talent.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, it does seem to me like this game's going to come down to turnovers and who's going to win the turnover battle. And so far, we have not been able to do that very often this season. I'm definitely concerned of Andy Dalton, just a second start this year. He turned over the ball a couple times last week, and one of them was probably pass interference, but he could have turned the ball over 3 or 4 times. So I'm concerned about him throwing Kendall Fuller's way. At the same time, we do have some talent on offense. Do you have any predictions for this week?
um, with the score prediction?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I've been going back and forth because our offense is so bad. So I don't even know if we're capable of scoring 30 points. But then again, your defense is like historically bad, and I saw your grades for last week. Mike Nolan is such an awful defensive coordinator, where it looks like
Yeah.
a college team could probably score at least 20 points on you guys right now. And then all the leaks and the going at the coaches and and the players going on the coaches and whatnot.
Yep.
Um, I hate to say it, but I think you guys win this game 27-24, and it's gonna come down to a field goal. I don't really believe in I don't trust Ron Rivera's decision making right now. It's just really really questionable. I think, like you said, it's going to come down to turnovers. If Zeke fumbles the ball like he did against the Cardinals, then yeah, sure, Washington has a huge chance to win this game. But if Zeke has a clean game and Pollard gets going and CD gets going and other guys get going, And I don't see your O line holding up, but say if they just do just enough to get Dalton
Right.
some kind of clean pocket, then I think you guys win probably 27-24. I think it's going to be not in the 30s, but like probably in the high 20s, and you guys win by
Yeah.
so low.
And you're definitely right about Zeke, man. Last week against the Cardinals, I thought we were going to be able to get that run game established just because they're an average rush stopping defense. And I think y'all are kind of in the top half as far as stopping the run goes. But it's one of those things, man. If Zeke's going to turn the ball over a couple times, I think you're exactly right. Another thing that's concerned me about the Cowboys is teams are just sending the house against us, and we aren't good at running screens. As a matter of fact, to me, my best example is we look like a D2 team trying to run a screenplay against Alabama. It's just kind of an accident waiting to happen, man. But yeah. What is your Ron Rivera kind of defensive scheme if you're playing the Cowboys? Is he going to send a lot of pressure, you think?
I like Jack Del Rio. I really do. I know we've gotten beaten coverage a few times, but I really want us to get there with Chase and Montez. But we're gonna have to send some guys. We're gonna have to send John Bostic. We're probably gonna have to send Landon Collins on a blitz here and there. So Jack's got to be creative and mix it up. We got to take advantage of your, Tyron Smith being out. We just got to take advantage of Lyle Collins being out, Zach and Zach Martin. We got to. If we wanted to win this game, we have to sack Andy at least 4 to 5 times. We got to do what we did to Carson Wentz in week 1, where we sacked Carson 8 times. We got to at least get to Andy at least four sacks.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And I like Jack Del Rio too, man. I like him from his Oakland days and from his head coaching days in Jacksonville. I always thought he's a pretty decent coach. Next, I'm going to ask you, what is your prediction for the NFC East? Give me first and second place.
Ooh, that is a
That's a
hard
tough one.
one.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I mean, right now it's looking like the Giants have a little bit of. You just never know. The Giants could really beat the Eagles. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Eagles tonight because the Eagles, they don't have Zach Ertz, they don't have Miles Sanders. They're missing their offensive line is terrible right now. Their offensive line is banged out. I could easily see the Giants winning tonight. And if they win tonight, who knows? The Giants might run away with it at 6-10, and then you guys could actually win on Sunday and run away with it. We could beat you guys somehow and run away with it. So everybody's just so bad. If I had to guess, I would say the Eagles right now, just because they played a really good Ravens team and they actually put up a fight against the Ravens.
Pretty close game, yeah.
Yeah. So I hate to say it, but I think the Eagles might win it, and then you guys will probably be at like 5-0. Eagles will be 6-9-1, and I guess you guys will be like 6-10, I guess, and then they'll probably win like the tiebreaker or something, like kind of like last year. They'll win like a tiebreaker, like last game of the season or something like that.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's what I got.
I completely agree, man. I was saying the other day, I think 8-8 for us at this point is a stretch. I think 6-10 is going to be tough, and if I had to guess, I think we're going to win 5 games this year, but I could see 6. And I do get this sick feeling in my gut that the Eagles are going to just run away with the division at the very last couple of weeks of the season. It's happened before. It feels like it's going to happen again. I hate to see it because as a Cowboys fan, I've been to some games in New York and I actually get along pretty well with Giants fans. I went to DC. I went to Landover last year for a Cowboys Giants game. And man, I had fun. I had fun talking to the Washington fans. I know they were kind of upset with what was going on with the whole Gruden thing, and they were just ready for that to be over. But Ed, I really appreciate you being on and coming on, man. If you want to go and plug your channel and all your social and that kind of stuff, go ahead.
Yeah, so you guys can find me at Oliver Washington Football Team. Instagram is Eddie Del Negro. Twitter is a tough one. It's like EDT000 flat, so it's Ed2 flat. So that's where you guys can find me. And I agree with you, man. Eagles fans are the worst fans I've ever seen in my life.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
They boo Santa Claus. They just don't know how to. They just have no class at all.
Yeah, I go to these games with like my mother and my grandmother, and I'm like, I would never take her to Philly to an Eagles game. I just can't do it. But thanks again, man. I think that's gonna do it for today, guys. Hopefully we'll have some more daily Dallas Cowboys content coming this week, and I'll definitely leave the links for Ed's socials in the description. And we're out. Peace.